Hey folks, Michael Mann with Michael Mann Security Services. Hey, if you watched our video this past week conducting close protection operations in faith-based environments, we talked about protection objectives. There are 4: protection from intentional threats, protection from unintentional threats, the protection from embarrassment, and of course protection from some sort of interruption. I'm going to just go over some things I do that's cost-free, that helps me prepare for the intentional threats in that faith-based environment, even though it's very, very low to minimal risk. We're talking about things like active shooter, somebody trying to come in and harm the pastor or congregate sitting inside that sanctuary, or somewhere inside that faith-based or that church or synagogue or mosque space. And so something I do to prepare is dry practice. Again, low risk or minimal risk that you're ever going to have to use your firearm to defend yourself or someone inside that congregation or inside that sanctuary. But again, something I do that is of zero cost. So what you're going to see here just real quick is I've got my trusty Glock 48. I have 2 magazines. Inside these magazines, I have the Rogers magazine inserts that number one, they block any the ability for any round to be loaded inside that magazine, so you can't mess this up. And number 2, they also help you manipulate the slide, and that way the slide does not lock back to the rear on an empty mag. So I'm just going to walk through what we do, like a dry practice session that I normally do, and that helps you, again, prepare for an intentional threat if that were to ever happen, because you really don't need to shoot a lot of ammo to be really well at shooting the pistol, believe it or not. Dry practice should be about 80 to 90% of your practice with your pistol. All right, so what I do is I put these quick inserts in the magazines. I've got one here. I've got one here in my trusty magazine pouch. There is no live ammo inside this room. Something else before I go dry practice, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll make sure that I have a safe backstop, and I just use an old plate that I've got from a plate carrier to put back up there just to make sure. But if you're unsure of how to set all this up, send us an email. You can get me at contact@michaelmannsecurityservices.com, or you can go to scottm@michaelmannsecurityservices.com, and we'll send you the guideline. So just real quick, using these Rogers inserts, I'll stand up here so you can see it. And what I'm able to do is take my pistol, of course, from concealment. And of course, the pistol is empty. There is no live ammo inside this room. This room is set up for dry practice. I can insert that magazine with that Rogers insert into the pistol. And what that allows me to do is run that slide, and the slide does not lock back to the rear. A couple of things I can do. I can do 10 trigger presses from low ready. I come up, press the trigger. I can do that 10 times. This is my routine. I do about 6 times a week. Then I can go back in the holster, cover up, be concealed like we are inside the sanctuary or standing a post somewhere on the property that belongs to the church, synagogue, or mosque. And then I can practice presentation from concealment and get 10 good trigger presses. So I practice this 10 times. So now I'm going to get an additional 10 trigger presses along with presentation. And then something cool again about these Rogers magazine inserts is I can also, as I practice this and I press that trigger, what I can also do is practice reloads. And so I can practice that speed reload, or as if the pistol was dry. All right, so I dump that mag, insert a new mag, run the slide as if I'm loading the pistol, and again, because of the inserts, the slide does not lock back to the rear. Okay, so again, just a quick dry practice guideline. Helps you practice for those intentional threats, low to minimal risk, but it's really cool. It's really fast. I do this about 6 times a week. It takes less than 10 minutes. It takes me more time to set the room up to make sure there's no live ammo, and I've got a safe backstop and all that good stuff. But again, if you've not had to deal with that before, don't know how to do it, shoot us an email and we'll send you it's about a 4-page dry practice guideline that will prepare you for dry practice, safe and effective dry practice before you do this. All right, so I hope we helped today. This goes with your intentional threats. Stay tuned. We've got part 2 of the close protection operations in faith-based environments coming up, and we'll have a lot of other good information for you. And always remember, folks, as we're inside that sanctuary or staying those posts at those faith-based environments or in those faith-based environments, this is all about prevention, not response.